Hello again, Red Room friends and parents. It's good to see you all again. Moms and dads, I sent out an email today with an attachment in it, and you will, when you open that attachment, you'll see 7 pages, and you really only need to worry about the first 5 pages. The other 2 pages are just some instructions that went along with the letter tags that I have sent or letter cards. So you just need to print them out like this, and then you can cut them up. And this is also a great activity for the kiddos to do to practice their cutting skills. So I hope you all have a pair of kid scissors at home, and if you don't, you can order some on Amazon. This is a really great skill for them. You guys can cut these out for mom and dad, or mom and dad can cut them out, either way. What I would recommend is printing them on cardstock. This thin cardstock, really lightweight, can go through most printers. It goes through my printer without any problems. It's 65-pound weight. Anything heavier than that could get stuck though, okay? If you don't have any cardstock, you can use index cards if you happen to have any of those at home. Mom or dad might have some at their office. You can also use, if you have any like scrapbook paper, if mom and dad have any scrapbook paper, usually the other side of it is white, so you can't put this through a printer. But if you don't have a printer at home and you can't print the cards, you can just make your own. So mom and dad can draw lines on here, or one thing you can do is you can fold the paper like this, and then we fold again and again. You're just making little squares by folding it down, and that kind of just shows you where to cut your lines, or to cut the paper. So instead of having lines on it, you can just cut on the folds, and you just cut that out like so. And then one side is kind of fancy, but you want to put your letter on the plain side, and then you can just write your letters on the white side, like that. And it doesn't matter if it's not the exact same size as the ones that I sent in the attachment. The size doesn't matter at all. Another idea is if you just have some plain construction paper. It doesn't have to be white paper either. It can be colored, and you can just do the same thing. Just cut it into smaller pieces, squares, rectangles, whatever, and put your letters on them. And you want to just write every letter of the alphabet, so that you would need 26 squares for that, because there's 26 letters, or 26 index cards. And then you'd want to write all capitals, all 26 capitals, and then after that, you'd want to do another set of 26 for all the lowercase letters. Okay, parents, I also want to mention that on some of these cards, the letters look very similar to one another, okay? And so, you know, your kids are just learning these lowercase letters, and so they might look at this and not know if that's a C or a U or even an N. So what I find helpful is to take maybe a gray pen, a pencil, a gray marker, but not necessarily black, because then they might confuse it as part of the letter, and to put a line underneath to show them that that is the bottom of the card. So if they look at the card this way specifically, they would see that's lowercase c, and this is lowercase n, and this is lowercase u, okay? However, when you look at lowercase p and lowercase d and lowercase b, they are very difficult for children to distinguish, especially if the cards are all oriented in a similar way. And this looks similar to a lowercase q, although lowercase q has a nice little curve on the bottom there. But I would recommend doing the same thing with these letters, and that is drawing a line underneath so that they can identify and orient the bottom of the card so that there's no question about which way the card goes, that this is lowercase d and not a lowercase p. So, same there. Okay. All right. Another thing you can do, parents, since your children are just starting to learn their lowercase, is you can limit the matching game to start with to letters that are just similar to their uppercase, similar in both uppercase and lowercase. So here's uppercase V, and that looks exactly like lowercase v, only smaller. So you can start out with V, S, W, X, Z, O, and C, because all those letters look identical for the most part to their uppercase counterparts. So it's easy for children to match these. It's also true with a couple other letters such as Y. I just don't happen to have Y in my hand right now. Y, there it is. Y and P is also very similar. So the lowercase versions of those letters are just smaller versions of the uppercase. So parents, there's another way that you can modify this activity if you don't feel like maybe your child is ready for all the lowercase letters yet. That's okay. You can make 2 sets of uppercase letters and just practice matching and identifying those, and then move on to lowercase when they're ready.